Okay, Richard, we got to talk about church websites.
Yes, we do.
Because we talk to church leaders all the time, and we've seen a lot of church websites.
A whole lot, more than we could even count.
Yeah, like I've forgotten more websites than I can remember.
Oh, absolutely.
And so we've seen a lot of churches with great websites that are really creative, even inspiring, and the church that has that website loves it.
Right.
It's serving them well.
Yeah.
It's helping a lot of people in the community find them. It's giving the members resources that they can use throughout the week for like discipleship purposes. It's kind of like a digital springboard for discipleship. It's great. But those are the exception.
Those are the exceptions. Yeah, those websites, they function the way they're supposed to. They're getting their money's worth out of it.
Yes.
But like you said, more churches that we talk to have a more negative opinion of their website.
Because you've been in the Getting Started workshops that we do every week for new churches in ChurchTrac.
That's right.
And what's the thing that we talk about?
Yeah, we always ask our new users. We have the 3 camps.
Yeah.
Describe to us your website with the 3 camps. The first one being you have a great website.
Yeah.
The second one being you have a website that doesn't function that well. You don't like it. Doesn't look good. And then, of course, the third camp being you don't have a website. Maybe we're relying on something like Facebook.
And which camp do most churches fall into?
Camp 2.
Yeah, camp 2. Like most churches, they have a website and it's frustrating. It's expensive. It's not user-friendly. It's outdated. It's this and that and the other. I mean, we hear a lot of very negative words from church leaders. It honestly kind of hurts to hear it.
Yeah.
It breaks your heart. So we're going to talk about why no one visits your church website and what you can do to fix it.
Because it can be fixed.
Yeah, we're going to address the 8 main reasons that people don't visit your website and what you can do to fix each one. Some very simple things. So the number one reason people don't go to a church website is because they don't know it exists.
Well, that certainly makes sense. Yeah.
It almost feels silly and stupid to say that out loud. Right. But it feels obvious when you say it out loud. But the problem is a lot of church leaders just don't talk about the website. They don't bring it up. Yeah,
it's not any of their bulletins. They don't talk about it from the pulpit. It's not on the screens in worship. I mean, people just don't know about it, and they can't visit it if they don't know about it.
Yeah, exactly. What inspired me to put this as the first reason is I was having a conversation with a church leader. I do like Zoom workshops with church leaders throughout the week. And I was telling him about Church Connect, the feature where you can have a website and an app and a member portal all rolled into your church management software that we offer. And he was amazed. He was like, this is great. Like, this is going to make this so much easier because our website, I hate it. Like, I spent so much time putting it together.
Money too.
It's been so expensive.
Yeah.
And not even my members use it. Like, no one goes to the website. It's been the biggest waste.
Oh, my.
And I was like asking him questions, trying to diagnose maybe why, in his case, it's not. And I asked him, like, do people even know about the website? And he was like, well, sure. I mean, I told them all about it when I set it up and launched it. And I asked him, well, when was that?
Okay.
And he thought for a second. He said, I think it was like a year and a half ago. And I was like, have you mentioned it since? And he was like, I guess I haven't really done it.
Yeah, I know.
I got so frustrated that no one visited it, I just kind of moved on. I said,
man.
That's why no one visits the website, because they don't even know about it.
Right.
So like you mentioned, just tying back into it in a sermon, or maybe in announcements, post something about some upcoming thing in the website and tell everyone to go visit the website to learn more. Have links to it on your bulletin. Post about it on social media.
If you have an event, something like that, put it on your website, direct people there.
Yes.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, so that's step 1.
Talk about it.
Talk about it. If no one's visiting it, try talking about it a little more often and see if maybe that increases a little bit of traffic a little bit more.
It should help.
The second reason that people don't go to your website is because it's slow and unresponsive.
So it's just unenjoyable.
Yeah, it's just a frustrating experience to go to. And so for the few people that have visited, they don't come back. Because,
why would they?
Yeah, like why would they want to pull their hair out as they're surfing online? According to a study by Google a couple years ago, 53% of all mobile users, people who are navigating websites with their mobile phone, abandon websites that take more than 3 seconds to load. Like that's what our
that sounds like
attention span
that doesn't
is.
sound like a big amount of time, but on on the internet it is.
Yeah. Other studies I've seen show that like people bounce if a page takes more than 8 seconds to load.
Oh my gosh.
So like you have 8 seconds to keep their attention.
No pressure.
or they leave. They're moving on to something else. Our attention span is shot, like culturally, just broadly speaking. Our attention spans are incredibly short.
Yeah, we wait outside the microwave for 1 minute. So
Yeah.
this is taking forever.
Yeah.
You know, that's how we are. It's like,
And over 55%, this is a different study, of all online traffic is on mobile devices.
so you want to make sure you have your websites responsive.
Yes,
to these
to the
mobile
screen
websites,
size.
yeah.
So it looks great on a computer, it looks great on a tablet, and it looks great on a mobile phone.
Right.
And it functions well. Like you don't have to pinch and zoom just to click that link to go to that page that has that thing that you need.
Right.
You need it to be formatted to fit whatever screen size someone's visiting. Otherwise, people are going to bounce. They're going to leave and not and probably not even come back to your site.
And really, do you blame them?
No. So the way to fix this
Yes.
is to check every link and button on your site and make sure that it's loading properly.
Right.
And then also, just a little tip, like resize your images to be 1 megabyte or less. No more than a megabyte, because that's what causes a lot of browsers to struggle to load that page, because that's just a huge file that has to be processed. Also, remove any widgets. Widgets were like really popular back in the day. Everyone wanted to throw everything into the margins of a website.
Yep.
And it first of all, it clutters things and it doesn't look great most of the time.
It's
and
probably
also
not so responsive, is it?
it's also probably not very secure.
That too.
That could be a way for the creator of that widget to harvest a lot of data.
Oh wow. Yeah, no one thinks about that.
And then also just bogs down the load time of that screen of the site.
Yeah, so what I hear you saying is that when you have your website, you want to test it as a user on each screen.
Yes, always test. Whenever you're like in a website builder and you're choosing a good template, test out that template before
on different screens too.
Yes, on different screens. So pull out your cell phone and have your laptop and make sure it's working on both of those really well and it loads great whenever you're navigating across those pages. Just to make sure that your visitors and your members are going to have a good experience with your website before you actually like go any further with creating it with that template.
That's it. I mean, it's like people always say, you know, you eat first with your eyes.
Yes, that's a good point.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a very good point. And if your website is just chronically slow, if you have a website now, you're not in the process of creating it, and it's just always slow, it's probably time to make a change.
Time to make a change.
You need to either choose a different template or, better yet, choose a different provider altogether, a different host.
Yes.
The third reason that people don't visit your website is it offers little to no value. Like there's no reason for them to go. There's nothing there for them.
This goes back to if you're, you know, I use the example of an event. If you're having an event, put that on your website.
Yes.
Use it.
However, remove that event once it's over.
Yes.
Don't keep it up
there
for
word.
forever.
How many church websites have I seen that have potlucks from like 2018?
Yes.
You know?
I was on just a couple days ago. I was looking at the website for a school, like a biblical studies school. It's based up in Nashville.
Sure.
And in their nav bar at the very top with all like the main tabs for their website, they had the course catalog for the fall semester of 2021. Like that was their most recent.
Oh no.
Yeah. This was just a couple days ago, like earlier this week.
Yeah, that doesn't look good. That tells the user that you're not managing this website and there's really no value to go to it.
There's not only no value, but it makes you look bad.
Yeah.
It makes you look kind of incompetent, to be perfectly honest. Like I'm sure that spaghetti dinner you had at your church 6 months ago
was great.
Was killer.
6 months ago it was.
6 months ago it was. You don't need to keep announcing it as an upcoming event. Go ahead and remove that. If the only thing you post on your website is service times and just a few upcoming events, like yes, add those. But if that's all there is, no one's going to visit. Because that doesn't really, there's nothing there for your potential visitors. And also your members already know that information. So why are they going to go to your website?
They have no reason to.
They have no reason to. So give people a reason to visit. One recommendation that I make to church leaders, and it always kind of like, they're like, really? When I say this, but you need to have a blog. You need to have a blog on your church website.
Yeah, that's a great thing that you could just keep updated.
Because I know that the initial reaction that I get from leaders is because like blogs had their heyday 10 years ago. Back in like the late 2000s and early 2010s, you could have a blog, and if you had enough traffic to that blog, you could like earn a living off of
ad space
and stuff like that. It was big, and then it plummeted.
Yeah, no one really does that anymore.
Well, kind of. It's made a resurgence through Medium and Substack.
Oh.
Are you subscribed to any like Substacks or Medium blogs?
Can't say that I am.
Oh man, it's like all I read.
I'm gonna go to my desk and do that, though.
Yes, so like Substack is a platform for you to start your own blog, and it pays its creators and its writers. So if you can have enough of an audience, like you get a huge amount of revenue through the subscriptions. So Substack is great. Medium does the same thing. So it's experiencing a resurgence.
It's coming back.
But the main reason for having a blog is because that's the best opportunity for SEO. And we'll talk about SEO coming up, so stay tuned.
Yes.
But that's a great opportunity to build really good SEO juice into your website. So there's a lot of great real estate there.
I mean, just speaking of that, Matt, too, I mean, I think we mentioned this before, but churches need to function like they're competing. With their websites.
Like, you hate to think of it that way for churches because this isn't a competition. We're a family.
Right.
But in our media landscape, again, like we talked about at the beginning, we are competing for attention.
Correct.
And if you want to grab someone's attention and draw them into your church, it has to be something that brings them value.
That's it.
It has to be worth their time to go to your website.
Yep.
Another good piece of advice is to make your website a hub of all of your content. So make sure you're linking you're posting on social media about your website, but you're also like linking stuff from your social media in your website so that there's a network. If anyone in your church has written anything, even if they've just self-published, link to it.
Yeah, link to it. Your social media, like you said, your YouTube channel for your sermons, everything.
Everything. If you have a church calendar, keep it updated. Have it on the website. Have like a page on your website and keep that calendar updated.
No potlucks. Okay.
Yes. And that's why we have ChurchTrac events.
That's it.
So that you can have the church calendar in the same system that you're using to manage everything else, and that can be posted online. So you're not having to like log into something else like Google Calendar and update that, and then make sure it's on the website. It's all in one place.
Yeah, you don't have to update all these different calendars. So
So we make it easy with ChurchTrac to have that updated calendar on your website, because the downside is having a calendar and it's empty on the website.
You don't want that either.
Yeah, that's actually maybe worse than not having the calendar on the website.
This church doesn't do anything ever.
Yeah, so. They got nothing going on. So like the general advice that I give to church leaders when I talk to them about this is, first, think like a member. So try to put yourself out of your church, like take your church leader hat off and put your church member hat on.
Yep.
And think about, what would a church member want or need on this website for them to come to it more often? And then take the member hat off and put your visitor hat on, which is hardest. That's probably the hardest thing to do.
Yeah, somebody who's no experience with your church whatsoever.
Yeah.
What are they thinking?
And
First impressions.
And if that's a struggle, then like try to like grab a family member that doesn't go to your church, like a relative that lives in another city, and ask them to like visit your website.
Yeah, that can
and
help.
offer pointers
For sure.
So think like a visitor too, and think like, what do people out in the community who don't go to our church, what do they need to see on this website for it to be worth their time to come and check it out?
That's good.
So number 4. Number 3 kind of leads into number 4. We kind of mentioned the spaghetti dinner, the potlucks. Number 4, the reason why people don't visit your website is it's full of outdated content. I know that VBS 3 years ago was just a blast. You had a huge turnout. Kids got saved. Hallelujah. Praise God. Amazing. But you don't need to continue to post about that on your website as if it's an upcoming event.
Yeah.
Or like put that in kind of like that School of Theology in Nashville where they had the course catalog in their main nav bar. Don't like have VBS 2018 up there for people to check out.
No, that would look bad.
That was great. And you maybe can have that in an archive somewhere for people to visit maybe, but otherwise what you did 5 years ago isn't relevant now.
It doesn't affect anything.
It doesn't affect anything today.
Let's move forward.
Yeah. So make sure that you're removing outdated content. Also scan the website just to make sure that the content that is relevant is also up to date. Like if you have a small group program at your church and you have the groups like locations and times and leaders all listed out, make sure that none of that's changed.
Yeah, I mean, even in my own church, I think we even still have on there like children's ministry and youth ministry at this time, which right now in our church, we don't have a youth ministry.
Okay.
And so that's really important to update because we did obviously, but if someone were to come, a family were to come and they had youth in their family looking for the youth ministry, they'd be really disappointed.
Yes. So the quickest and simplest way to do this is, especially with photos, remove old photos and add new ones.
Oh yeah.
I've seen church websites where they've got pictures of like the welcome area, people kind of smiling and chatting and fellowshipping before or after a service, and they've got that on the website, but they did that like right as they launched, and it was a big turnout. It was this big opening day.
Right.
But are people going to see that big crowd when they come?
Yeah, probably not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Maybe they will. Maybe it's actually gotten bigger since you first started. And
that's a good thing. Then you need to update your photo with the bigger crowd.
Yes. Just every so many months, scan your website. Just scroll through all the pages, click through all the different links, and make sure that there are photos there that are relevant. Especially, and this another way to think about this is like if your volunteer base has had any changes. So like a children's ministry team. If you have a photo of like a children's ministry leader in a room with kids and they're no longer serving in that role, well, that sets an expectation that isn't going to be met when a new family arrives and they drop their kids off. And you want to make sure that they know what to expect and feel like they already kind of know what's going on as they come in and they feel comfortable.
Yeah, and I've seen churches experience that with things like their staff page. Maybe they've had staff changes, but they have the old staff members still there. And so they get to the children's ministry, it's a whole different children's minister. I mean, I could see how that could concern a parent.
Yes. And this feels like a lot to juggle.
Yeah.
I know as you're watching this, you're probably thinking and maybe even feeling a little bit of dread kind of creeping in of like, you're not looking forward to having to add website management to your already overflowing plate. So this is why we built Church Connect. This is why we created Church Connect and why it's fully included in a ChurchTrac paid subscription, even the standard subscription.
That's it. And how many churches have we seen that use Church Connect as a website?
Yes.
And that works so well for them.
Yeah, because they're managing the website in the same place they're managing everything else at their church. They're not having to juggle multiple platforms. They're not having to not just juggle multiple logins, but also learn how to use this other website builder and then use their church management software and become experts in both of those things.
You don't have to even be a web developer. You don't have to know how to do programming, HTML. What is that? You don't have to know about it.
No, you don't have to know any of that.
It's so easy.
You don't have to know how to code. All you need to do is just have an account with like Canva and make really cool images.
And Canva's super easy to use too.
Canva's super. It's. I say this all the time. If you've watched any of our other videos, you're tired of me saying this, but it's Photoshop for dummies.
Yep. Like us.
Like us, like me. I'm the dummies. I need it. I can't do Photoshop, but I can do Canva.
Yeah.
And it makes great images, great stuff. So that's why we made Church Connect, is to make your website management as easy as possible.
That's right.
Reason number 5.
Yeah.
Why people don't visit church websites is there's like no social media. The way I put it is there's no social media presence. And that's kind of multidimensional. So we see a lot of churches just aren't using social media in general. Like they maybe have an account on social media, but it's dead. Like they're not posting
like their website, they're not updating it.
Yeah, they're not updating it, which is kind of a shame because it's free. And all of your members are using it.
Everybody's on social media.
Everybody is on social media. There's a lot of different platforms, and it's hard to decide which ones to use. Sure. But just ask your members what they're using, and then consider creating an account on those like top 3 platforms, and then using that. The reason why I bring that up is because it's a great opportunity to give your members information and resources throughout the week.
That's right.
It's a great way to connect with the community and for people in the area to find your church. Because again, they're scrolling mindlessly.
Yeah.
Might as well be
the dead scroll.
Yeah. Might as well be where they are. meet them where they're at. And then also, it's free. Like there's no cost to this.
There's no cost.
So you might as well be using social media. And then when you have social media, and if you're using it, post about your church website. If you're making a big announcement about an upcoming event or a new program, like a new ministry that you're doing at your church, post about it in detail on the website, and then make an announcement on social media. And at the end, to learn more, click the link below.
Yeah, that could certainly improve your traffic to your website. I mean, I can see that because everybody's on social media already. Post that event, put it on your website, send a link into social media. There you go. Yeah,
it's just a little way, but an effective way to bring a little bit more traffic to your website.
That's right.
Number 6, and this is actually a really, really big one. We kind of touched on this a little while ago. Right. Is that it's not mobile friendly.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, when we're browsing the internet, the web, whatever, we're on our phones.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10.
9 times out of 10. Like I mentioned earlier, the stat that we talked about, over 55% of all web traffic is mobile traffic.
Yeah.
It's people on their cell phones just navigating and checking something out. Or even like just on social media, they see that link and they tap on that link from their smartphone. So most traffic is on smartphones. So if your website doesn't look or function well on a smartphone, it leaves a very bad impression.
Have you ever been to a website on your phone where it looks like it does on your computer? You gotta like zoom in real hard to
the
find
pinch and zoom.
Yeah, it's like
just to read something or tap
or
on
like
that
the drop downs. You try to hit a menu, but it doesn't work.
Worse, like on a smartphone. A site that doesn't work well on mobile will make you look like you don't know what you're doing.
That's right.
It's the unfortunate fact of our world right now.
Yep.
Even though as like church leaders, we're like, it doesn't matter. We're doing ministry. We're here to do the Lord's work. And that's true. But if you want to reach the world, you have to understand what language they're speaking. You have to know where they are and meet them there.
We call this contextualizing.
Contextualizing ministry.
Learn your context and adjust to that. Don't change the message of the gospel. We don't do that. Okay. But we change our approach.
Yeah, absolutely. We always adjust the approach just to meet the people where they are.
That's it.
So the way to fix this is to test a website template out before choosing it. We talked about that earlier.
Yep.
Just make sure it's responsive to your mobile device. Whatever mobile device you have, whether it be a tablet or a smartphone. It has to look and function good on every device, no matter what.
Yep, and that's when you put those different hats on.
Yes.
Just like you're mentioning.
Occasionally, even after you've chosen a template and you've started building your website and it's up and running, every now and then check in on the website from your smartphone. Navigate to a few different pages just to make sure it's loading well, it's functioning well, because even if a template is well built and it's made to be responsive, you just got to make sure. You got to make sure that it's working well.
That's it. Just be the manager. Just double check everything's working. That's good.
Number 7, this one's kind of small, but it's worth mentioning. And that's a lack of online giving.
Oh, yeah.
Even though, again, if you create an online giving platform and you add that to your website, it's not going to drive a lot of traffic to your website, but it will create at least an additional trickle into your website, which is worthwhile.
Sure.
Having an online giving platform is worthwhile because study after study has confirmed that when a church adds online giving, like they don't have online giving and then they add it, they typically see an increase in overall giving.
Right, like 30-something%.
Yeah, it's like 30-something% year over year.
Yeah.
And that's just because for most online giving platforms, they offer recurring donations, meaning members can just set something and then forget it.
Because we do forget it.
Because we do forget it all the time.
That's why we don't get.
Either we're sick or out of town.
Yeah.
Or we forget to grab the checkbook or have enough cash on us before we arrive. Having digital giving eliminates that, so that you can have your members donate whether they're present or not, or they were rushing out the door trying to get, we're parents.
Yeah.
You and I are dads of young kids. I have many times promised to bring something for church.
Yes.
But in the shuffle of getting the kids to put their shoes on and making sure they have their book bag and grab our waters and our coffees and haul them and buckle them into the, and in that shuffle, like I'm halfway to the church and think,
yeah, you're describing my Sundays.
Yeah.
It's just me every week.
Yeah, it's me most weeks too.
Yeah.
There's always something that's forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
Or even if it's just a stuffy that they want in their car seat with them on the ride home.
Oh my word. We got to turn back around and go get it.
So it's easy to forget. Having online giving eliminates that.
That's right.
So you should offer online giving at your church. We offer online giving to users in ChurchTrac. You can create online giving. You can create an online giving portal right from within the account. The donations are automatically recorded for you. It's the lowest fees in the industry. It's amazing. But for websites, the reason why it's a good idea to have your online giving offered and linked to in your website is because for people you can direct people to go there. Mm-hmm. Every time like a guest or even like a person making a one-time donation, like for a missionary or something that's speaking, sure. every time someone goes to that portal, that's traffic to the website.
That's it. So you could even take that link that we give you for when you connect your Stripe account, hyperlink that to your website or from your website so that people go to your website, they'll see a give button, they'll click on it,
exactly,
go right to your giving portal.
Easy. And then for even the regular donors, anytime they need to manage the donation,
that's it.
Because they can like with ChurchTrac giving, they can manage the recurring donation and make any changes that they need to after the fact, after they set it up. So that's yet another visit. That's another metric to your church website. And then last but not least, and this is actually something that is probably the biggest reason, at least today.
Yeah. What is it?
is it's lacking what we call local SEO.
Okay.
Do you know what SEO stands for?
Oh gosh. What is it? Search engine?
Yes.
What's the O?
Search engine optimization.
That's it. Okay.
So search engine optimization, broadly defined, is the act of like making your website rank well in a Google search.
It's how searchable it is.
Yeah, just making it easier for Google to come to the conclusion that this website has the answer that this person is looking for when they do a search query. So like if you've ever been in Google and you've typed in something and you've scrolled through the list of websites, and you've ever asked yourself, why did Google put this one first? Or how did they know that had the answer to my question?
It's SEO.
It's because whoever's running that website
knows what they're doing.
Knows SEO, knows what they're doing. And they wrote that page of the website to have all the things that Google is looking for when it's determining what's going to answer this question the best.
So that's things like keywords and that kind of thing, right?
Yeah. So having keywords throughout your site. I've had to do that deep dive into like learning what keywords are and learning just how to tell Google's algorithm that ChurchTrac's website is the best. For churches, you actually have an easier time. And it's a lot easier for churches to rank well because you don't have to compete with a church across the state or across the country or on the other side of the world.
That's very true.
Like big organizations do because they're trying to rank internationally or at least nationally. A church, you just have to rank for your neighborhood.
It's a lot easier.
So like, because here's what we have found.
Sure.
And this has been my experience too, just as a church member. People don't search for a new church through like big directories or anything like that. They're just hopping usually in Google Maps.
Yeah, so who's close to me?
Yeah, they'll just type in a phrase like churches near me or churches in XYZ neighborhood or city or whatever. And then Google will give them that screen with all the pins.
Right.
And that's actually also a part of SEO. Like Google
really?
Google is ranking those. Because like if you go to Google and do a search on Google Maps, you'll see pins and you'll see dots. All of those are churches. Why are some pins and some dots?
I don't know.
And that's because the ones with the pins, the larger pins, probably have a better Google My Business account that's more complete. It's got the website linked in. It's got the service hours and the phone number and the address. And it's getting regular positive reviews. All of that. It's ranking in Google Maps. Even Google Maps will have that feature.
So you're saying that churches have control over their SEO?
Yes.
Okay.
So the best thing you can do as a church leader to help your website rank and drive traffic to it is to create an account in Google My Business. Create a Google My Business account. If your church already has one, log into it, take ownership of it. Make sure that all the information is up to date. You've filled in everything about your church you possibly can, like the hours and the web address and the phone number. That's actually a big driver to traffic to the website, is they see the listing in Google Maps and tap on the link to the website.
Wow.
But also, like, have you yourself and also your members can add photos. And that also helps it rank better if there's a continual stream of new photos, because it's relevant, up-to-date information. Same with reviews. Ask your members to like give your church 5-star reviews all the time.
That sounds kind of weird to rank a church. Anyway, a review a church.
But it's needed. It's needed. So like, and then for your website itself, when it comes to keywords, like people are typing in church near me or churches in whatever your neighborhood is, your town, your city, your district. They're typing in that phrase into Google Maps or into a regular Google search. Make sure your church website has that phrase kind of sprinkled throughout, here and there. Nothing conspicuous and obvious and awkward, but just make sure it's in the text and the body of your website in a couple places.
Make it obvious what neighborhood your church is in.
Yes. And another little trick is like, in the footer of a website.
Sure.
For a lot of churches, they'll have, links to their social media and their address and service times.
Right.
Sometimes you'll see a little box of a Google map with the pin for that church there. That is a direct link to Google Maps. So it's another way, if you add that to the footer of every page of your website, it helps you rank better in Google Maps and in Google.
Fascinating.
Yeah, well, because Google wants to promote what benefits them the best as well.
Sure.
So like they recognize that that's an integrated product.
Wow. And
so they'll promote that over other options.
Fascinating.
It's a web. It's a web of little details you got to keep in mind. But again, as a church leader for just your church website, it's actually simpler for churches than it is for corporations, because you only have to rank for your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And so it's easier, I promise. It sounds overwhelming, but really just create a Google My Business account and sprinkle that churches in whatever keyword that's relevant for your church. Those two things alone will take your church to the next level in terms of like how it ranks in a Google search.
That makes a lot of sense.
So that's it. Those are the 8 reasons why no one's visiting your website and how you can address each one of those. So go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel for any future videos. I've written some blog posts on church SEO if you want to learn more. I've got like the 5 best strategies for church website SEO, and like another one on the importance of local SEO for churches. So go ahead and read those. I'll have them linked in the description below. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel to stay up to date on all future videos that we do, including some more that we'll have about church websites and how to make them better and church SEO and all of that. We also have some videos already we've created on local SEO and Google My Business account. So check those out. Thanks for watching.
Great. Thanks, guys.